everybody. I wanted to make sure we got our live stream started for the week because it's already Wednesday, and I want to make sure that we have 3 live streams as promised. Hey, Tough Luck. Let's see here. Over under 50% will Mando and Grogu's teaser tomorrow be online? I heard that the trailer from Disney that's going up tomorrow will go up at an unusual time. And I suspect that that is because it will correlate with The Mandalorian. They have a panel at Star Wars Celebration Japan, and Japan is 13 hours ahead of New York City. So that panel starts at 10 p.m., and so that trailer would probably drop around 9 o'clock. Michael Macenas, that's so generous of you. Thank you. So we'll see. If it is Mandalorian and Grogu. I'll give you the information that I have. Oh, happy birthday to your mom, Michael. I'll give you the information that I have. I heard that the trailer tomorrow from Disney will drop at an unusual time. And I think that means probably in the evening to correlate with the panel. And I also heard that The Mandalorian and Grogu has had a trailer ready since the CinemaCon trailers were put together. It's not like a huge trailer, it's like a teaser. But, Disney's been sitting on it for a while now, a couple of weeks. So they do have something ready to go. And that's what I know. I think it's very likely that it will go up tomorrow evening. We'll see. They have to have something at Star Wars Celebration, for Pete's sake, besides potentially the sacrifice of Kathleen Kennedy. Will she retire or quit on Easter? Let's see what happens. I don't know if she would want to announce that at Star Wars Celebration because it would be the focus of the entire event. But, let's see what she decides to do. She's not going to retire. I don't think anybody expected her to. She's just going to pull an Amy Pascal and go off into the rest of Hollywood and make movies herself, She should only hope to have the same success that Amy Pascal has had after the Sony debacle. Seb says, hello from Bath, England. I just got back from a screening of Drop, which I liked, and can't wait for the 28 Years Later trailer tomorrow. Well, that's going to drop like at 3 a.m., I think, New York time. So maybe I'll react to it in the morning. Maybe I will. It's kind of crazy being like in a holding pattern. That really puts me in a difficult spot. As someone who covers things, you're just sitting here waiting, being like, when's the trailer going to drop? Like I heard this morning, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be someone who covers content. So this morning I get word that there are 2 Disney trailers today. The first was The Roses, the remake of The War of the Roses. And that I knew that was coming at 9. Knew I wasn't going to cover it. Just not a big enough deal. But then the other one, we were like, what could that possibly be? So we were all speculating, and we didn't know what time it was going to drop. 10, 11, noon. So I'm just kind of stuck waiting there. And also I'm trying to get a little bit of tea up online on social media, working my sources, seeing if I can find out what it is. Then I find out it's 3 o'clock. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I've wasted all this time this morning. Let me get that Daredevil breakdown up. And then 3 o'clock hits, and it's a Final Thunderbolts trailer, which John just mentioned. And, there's nothing new there. There's some nice emotional stuff with Yelena, but, a really good final trailer should have, like, one cool, amazing shot, which is really gonna, like, last I checked, it wasn't even trending. Let me see. Yeah, it's not trending. It's certainly not trending top 10, and it's not trending top 30. If a final trailer did what it was supposed to, Sentry would be trending right now. That's how a final trailer is supposed to work. Let me see. I missed some comments. Hold on here. Adam Sphere, thank you for gifting a membership. Tough Luck, I think the trailer will drop as soon as it plays during the panel. So anytime between, any time that the panel is running. I think they're going to want to run the trailer pretty early to talk about it maybe. Well, we'll see. Batman Collectible says, what's the realistic chances of the Batman Part 2 happening? I don't want details, just curious if the film is or is not happening. I see no reason to think that it isn't happening. And I think you can see tremendous faith in Matt Reeves' abilities from Warner Brothers and James Gunn. Let's see here. Movies. Justin says, "Hi, Grace. As a Republican male, I appreciate your respect to both sides immensely. You're the best, and yes, I adore." I'm glad you adore the Minecraft movie. I liked it as well. And that makes me very happy that a lot of people can feel welcome in these videos, in this space. You know, I don't want anyone to push anybody else out of the space, of course. So, you know, if people are mean or bullies, they get blocked. But anyone, you know, who just loves movies and TV, we can come together here. And I'm glad that you feel, you know, welcome here. Let's see here. Hey, Luis. Michaela says, "Why don't they drop the Avatar 3 trailer they debuted at CinemaCon?" I don't know if they played a trailer at CinemaCon. I think they showed some footage. We are waiting on a Wicked trailer, which is still supposed to be sometime this month. You know, Wicked for Good. I heard that there's something coming up with Stranger Things, an announcement of multiple dates for the final season. They're going to do it in parts like they've been doing other things. Oh, thank you, Gareth. I don't want to give away too much or I'm going to get in trouble. You know, it's both a positive and a negative that I find myself under a bit more of a microscope than other commentators do. But that means I'm more likely to get in trouble. Oh yeah, and we're also, Wanda's attorney, we're waiting for that other Fantastic Four trailer, which also was showed at CinemaCon. I am not in favor of sitting on trailers. I think it's a very, very bad idea. You know, just, you know, a prime example of why that's a mistake is look at Daredevil. They showed the Daredevil trailer at multiple conventions and Comic-Cons for months. And I think it really created a problem for the show that you're seeing manifest itself now. I think the gatekeeping is ridiculous and very stupid. Some people say, you know, they're going to be playing footage from CinemaCon in theaters. You have to pay $3 to watch someone's ads, which seems ridiculous to me, but apparently the money goes to charity. So there's some feeling that maybe that's why the trailers might come out next week. There's like no movies coming out next week, really. But so it would be nice if there was maybe a lot of trailer information. Sebastian says, "Do you see Drop or Sinners for a first date?" Oh, that's a great question. Drop, I just saw Drop last night, actually, and I thought it was really cute. You know, it didn't make total sense, but I was smiling while I watched it. That's a very nice romantic movie. But I gotta say, Sinners is pretty sexy. So it depends again, maybe, you know, maybe the second date should be Sinners. Maybe, but I don't know. Sinners is gonna be the hot movie this weekend. You don't want your date to be like, "Why are we watching last week's movie?" Let's see here. Hey, Luis. I think I said hi to Luis. Classic movie lover says, "Thoughts on the Thunderbolts final trailer?" I told you it was a Black Widow sequel. You know, it's a Black Widow movie. They can't fool us. They can't fool us. I thanked Gareth. Thank you. Hey, Nick Lopez. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm behind on the questions. I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm. All right, so Marker says, "I have a feeling Taskmaster won't die, and instead it's just a misdirect because Marvel is making her absence too obvious." I don't even know if it's true. I heard that Olga Kurylenko, is this true? Does anybody know this? Did Olga Kurylenko kind of go like a little conservative? That's like the conspiracy theory that somebody floated my way. That maybe that's why she was being kind of removed from the movie. Let's see. I mean, I nobody's like, there's been test screenings, but you know, there are fan screenings on April 22nd, and that's when the social media embargo lifts. But because fans are seeing it on the 22nd, the end of the movie will leak immediately. So it's weird that they would show it to fans so early because, and I've already teased you what it's going to be. That'll be on the internet within seconds. So it's going to be tough. Let's see here. Gab says, "New badge, woo woo, yeah, woo woo, new badge." Are the Doom Leak images real? I didn't even see them. I saw Robert Downey Jr.'s birthday card. I would be surprised if that would leak. They'll just be like, that's not his costume. Quick, change it. Let's see here. Kyle says, any chance you can elaborate on when the Stranger Things 5 release dates may be dropped without getting in trouble? I will get in so much trouble. I don't need that kind of heat from Netflix, man. I don't need it. You know? I will get in too much trouble. I cannot tell you. And I don't know, by the way, I know kind of when the release dates are, but I can't tell you that. I don't know when the trailer's dropping ready exactly, but I know it's ready. That's all I know. I know the trailer's ready. I don't know when it's going to drop. I just know that I heard that it's ready to go. It's locked and loaded. Big League Chew says, Grace, what are your thoughts on the 99% Rotten Tomato score for Sinners? Heard great things about it, but is it that good? My thought on that is that I feel bad that someone ruined the perfect 100% score. I think it's a very good movie. I think that it's going to have an uphill battle with mainstream audiences who are looking for kind of more of an action-y, genre-y film than what the film actually is. And I think that 100% would have been really nice for it. It would have been a nice feather in its cap. So I really like Sinners. I just reviewed it, but I think you should manage your expectations a little bit. And be open to the experience. Just be open to Ryan Coogler as not only a filmmaker but an artist, and I think you'll have a better time. Oh, hey, Oasis. That's great. You're going back and watching some of my former White Lotus content. I appreciate that. Ted or Todd, I hope The Residence gets renewed as well. I'm nervous about it. They haven't announced it. Adam Sphere says, was it worth it for you to cover Daredevil? If I start covering a show in the morning instead of staying up late to cover it, I think that's your answer. And I believe I'll be switching to next morning coverage of The Last of Us as well. I'm trying to play around with something else to kind of tide things over. Because, I know people want to talk about it right away, but I don't want to undercut the breakdown entirely, or what would be the point of making it. Let's see. But, I think that Daredevil, people really aren't interested in a lot of stuff right now. There's a general malaise, which makes it very hard for people in my space. Hey, Justin. So for Justin all along, thank you for gifting those memberships. That really goes a long way. Wanda's attorney, James Gunn said he wasn't going to release a trailer on Friday. I hope he's lying. This is one time I really hope that he is lying, because, I think it's going to be, people are really expecting something. I'll even take a poster for the movie, a new poster. I'll take a first look at Supergirl. Just anything. If they do another thing like they did with the Super Bowl on Friday, where it's just, the Puppy Bowl, which had nothing, and then that stupid lame joke about Nathan Fillion's haircut, it's going to be so bad. And by the way, I want Superman to have a great ad campaign. It benefits me. It benefits everyone. So, I'm rooting for that film to get on it. Tough Luck says, again, two other things, Grace. First, I respectfully disagree with you on Pixar's Elio. I believe if reviews are strong, it will leg out and be a hit like Elemental. Agree to disagree. And then Dancing Duck 60 says, I'm thinking Thunderbolts is low on big action. I'm surprised that they only show the one sequence. It makes it seem like there's not that much in the movie, and there has to be, right? We make fun of the Russo brothers, and their current films get such bad scores, but yet at the same time, the Russo brothers were really good at delivering multiple action sequences and really memorable, distinct ones. Gareth, I stopped watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I can't take Dorit's negativity anymore. And Sutton really disappointed me in how she just abandoned Garcelle. I thought that was real. I really was disappointed in that. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh, I appreciate everybody's questions. I'm getting to them. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Oh, no. Okay. Ricardo says, what do you think our chances are as Wanda stands of Elizabeth Olsen actually returning? I fear it may never happen after all the recent stuff. Yeah, talk about Real Housewives drama. It seems like she and Feige are not friends. I don't understand what's happening there. I mean, it's unusual for someone to be so negative on a franchise that's done so much for them. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that she would say those things. It must be pretty bad. And I've told you before that I worry that maybe she feels she ruined, before she became Wanda, she was on track to be like an Oscar caliber actress. And I think she feels she might have ruined that for herself. Thank you, Sean. Which to some degree she did. Robert Downey Jr. had to fully leave the MCU, won an Oscar, and then ran right back and got that paycheck again. Good for, Robert Downey Jr. That's okay, Noida Boss. You can always ask me a question on Twitter. That's right, Rodney. They filmed both Wickeds at the same time. So that's why they can come out in such quick succession. I love Black Widow too, Wanda's attorney. I think Florence Pugh looks really great in the film. Dancing Dog 60 says, "The Sinner's as spicy as Anora?" No way. No way. It's more verbal discussion than anything else. No, it's not like that at all. Ryan says, opinion on new horror movie with James Wan producing. The book it's based on is quite spooky. I haven't seen the news about that, but I love James Wan. He has a very good eye for talent and content. Zachary says, why are so many people praising Born Again when it's such a downgrade from the original? I think, I don't know. I don't know why people, I think that they clearly made a lot of mistakes with the new season, and I think it was overall, it had some nice moments, but I thought, it was not what I think many of us were hoping it would be. But you never know what's, I think some Marvel fans, they've lost a lot of their core fandom, but they still have a fandom that very much is rooting for them, which is great. It's really good when you still can hold on to your fans. And I think that they're frustrated with the negativity around Marvel right now, and I think maybe they're trying to turn it around a little bit. Rodolfo says Patrick Schwarzenegger isn't beefcake. I don't know. I like Patrick Schwarzenegger. I think he's doing a nice job. Joey Diabolic says Escape from New York, Escape from LA reboot. I'm not really familiar too much with those movies. So, I'm curious. I'm excited to get into that IP, but I'm not somebody who has like anything like, I'm like, oh, don't you dare do that, Wes the Best says, Grace, I was not planning on seeing Sinners, but after your review, I piqued your curiosity. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, Seuss, that's a very sweet thing for you to say. I don't know why I'm so awesome, but I'm glad you think so. And then that Wiccan fan says, you think we'll see any champions before Secret Wars? I hope they don't. If I were Marvel, I would stay the heck away from a junior team. I think that's a mistake. I think that I don't know why they decided to lean so much into putting kids into the MCU. Rodney Dollar, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 2. I hope we get a trailer soon. I thought the first movie had some nice elements to it. Tough Luck says, second, I also respectfully disagree with you on the Fantastic Four trailer. All right. After its first trailer, had the 10th biggest global trailer 24-hour launch ever. And if Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is in the post-credit scene to set up Avengers, it'll do $1 billion. Well, let's see. I would love for it to do $1 billion. $1 billion movie is great for the whole industry, including those of us who cover it. I think again, let's see. Let's see what happens. I think though the trailer views are getting a little out of hand. Every trailer that comes out tops the last one. And remember they were saying Captain America, oh my God, it has so many sales. Oh my God, it's bigger and more exciting than this. And then it just poof, didn't materialize. I think we might be getting to a point where people like to talk about stuff more than they like to actually consume the product. And so that's a big problem for Hollywood. It's great for me, but it's not so good for Hollywood, where people are like, oh, like I'm worried that might be the case for Superman. People are like, oh, I want to talk about Superman. Like many of you said, you don't even watch the streaming shows a lot anymore, particularly on Disney Plus. You rather just watch people talk about them. And I think that that's because, they're just not good enough. You don't need to watch them. And that's on the studios. Present Progressive says, greeting. I am very disappointed that they seem to have done a lot of political commentary stuff in Fantastic Four. I'm surprised that they allowed that. Let's see here. President Progressive says, greetings from Tokyo. Tokyo. Oh, I'm so jealous you're in Tokyo. Just went to Disney Sea yesterday and Disneyland the day before for the very first time. Darn it. I'm so happy for you, but also so jealous. I would love to be there. I hope you're having a great time. The attention to detail at Tokyo Disney is incredible. Let's see here. Hey, Not Modern Art History. It's always so nice to see you. Sophia, that's true. Daredevil Born Again isn't horrible. It had some really good moments, but it's just very meh, you know? Sahib, I told you guys the Wicked trailer was ready, and it did debut at CinemaCon, but disappointingly, it has not yet been released to the public. Maybe with How to Train Your Dragon. Paul says, but that's very far away. Paul says, can you tease any other big news without getting in trouble about other Star Wars Celebration news? I haven't heard anything else about Star Wars Celebration, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm hoping, I heard, this is the information I heard about Mando, which I shared with you. And then, maybe there's some idea that we might have something with Kathleen Kennedy. But let's just see. I'll be interested to see if she's presenting. Because, she really stayed away from D23, which I thought was very interesting. So let's see how much of a presence she even has at Star Wars Celebration. It's really sad what happened. It's sad for everybody. It's sad for her. It's sad for the fans. It's sad for women in film. It's just the whole thing is just really unfortunate. Zay says, are LA Disney movies really going to stop? I enjoy them thoroughly. Live action. I enjoy them thoroughly, and it's clear they make money when done right. They're not going to stop, Zay. I think they're going to recalibrate. I wouldn't be so worried about it. I think they're going to recalibrate. Steven says, did you see any clips from Gaga's Coachella? She got rave reviews. Oh, that's great. Good for Lady Gaga. Good for her for just forging on. I've not watched any Coachella. I've seen a couple of pictures and stuff on social media. But, I'm very happy about it. I'm glad she's doing well. Bobby, I didn't see that Trisha gave me a shout out on her podcast. That's very sweet. That makes me very happy. Chris says, do you have any favorite reviews you fondly remember or really enjoy how they turned out? I will tell you, thank you, Zay. I will tell you that I was absolutely surprised that my comments on Gal Gadot and Snow White went as viral as they did. I was just being honest, I never know when something's going to break out. I'm just being me. So I always find it very interesting what breaks out and how. And by the way, that happens because of you guys. So thank you. Thank you for those of you who clip a clip and put it out there. I really appreciate it. Celestine says, any chance you will watch The Chosen one day? Happy Easter. Well, I'm trying to spend some time with my family on Easter, but I also got, I think Movie Math might be delayed a day, but then I got to also cover The Last of Us in the evening. Somehow, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm not quite sure, I like to watch the Ten Commandments. I bought the Ten Commandments on iTunes or on Apple because I was like, I'm going to watch this probably every year. And I really think it's cozy. I like watching the Ten Commandments. So I think it's more likely that I would probably watch the Ten Commandments again. Just because I like the movie. And happy Easter to you too, Celestine. Twice as Bright says, what would you think about Britt Lauer as Jean Grey? She reminds me so much of Famke, especially her micro expressions. That's actually really fun casting, but I think she's probably older than Kevin Feige wants to go with his X-Men, unfortunately. She would actually be a really interesting Jean Grey. But I think they're going to go with younger actors. And then says, Nick, Zach Likes Movie says, do you think one of the actors from Warfare will play Nightwing? I'm hoping for DeFaro Wunatai to get it. I was really impressed with him in Warfare. I would have him read for anything. I thought he was so charismatic. He was, very handsome, very good actor, really had a strong presence on screen. I remembered seeing him, I believe it was at the Emmys, with the really cool handprint on his face. He looked amazing. But then I forgot about it. But when I saw him in this movie, I was like, who's that? And so I would have him come in and read for anything that he could even potentially qualify for. 80s model says, Grace, can you give us your overall thoughts on The Pit? I have 5 episodes left to go. You said your 80s model says, I'm interested in watching, but not a huge fan of medical dramas. I think you should just give it a try. And if you're not hooked with the first episode, it's not for you. But I think it's really incredible. I love it. I think it's so good. I think the characters are fascinating. I feel I'm learning so much about emergency room medicine and just like some medical history. I just think it's a really great show. I'm glad you're having fun, Wanda's attorney. Let's see here. Thanks, Elliot. I appreciate that. Elliot says, don't ask Grace questions that are going to get her in trouble. Yeah, because, sometimes I feel like we're talking in like a personal space and then someone runs to social media and posts it and out of context a lot of the times. And, that's really frustrating. And I believe sometimes intentionally out of context because that person's an asshole. Okay, let's see here. Peyton says, rewatched The Last of Us Season 2 first episode and noticed Ellie is dismissive whenever Joel is mentioned, except when Tommy says they're the same person. Yeah, I think, The Last of Us, when you watch it a second time, it really is a much better episode. I don't know. I mean, I had a friend who was making jokes about it and said that this was a great joke. My friend was so funny. She said that prestige streaming shows think they're too good for exposition. So you go and you watch the show and you're like, what happened last season? And you don't remember because the show thinks it's too good to have like a previously on or the character just kind of like reiterating it. And I thought that was really funny. And my friend was like, he should at least be like, Dear Diary, I shouldn't have killed all those people at the hospital. And now Ellie's really upset with me. And then Eugene, I feel really bad about how that went down. And, it's awkward going to see his wife, who's now my therapist. I just think that was good. I think that was good. All right. It's like when Jimmy Fallon writes the thank you card. It's like, and this is what's happening. David says, Grace, have you heard anything about Storm and Jean being in the next Avengers movie? Well, Halle Berry said no. I think Halle Berry wants to get paid. And I don't blame Halle Berry. Halle Berry should get paid. And I think that's really the issue. I think it's going to be a real shame. It's going to be really something that people won't forget about Avengers Doomsday if Storm isn't there. That's funny, Jazz. A lettuce, tomato, and Malaise sandwich. Yeah, I think politics is consuming people like I've never seen. I've never seen politics pull focus the way that it does, which I guess kind of makes sense because, Trump does come from the entertainment world, and I think he's very, very good at pulling focus. I mean, he learned a lot of lessons doing The Apprentice and through his business over the years, and he uses them very effectively. I mean, he's a difficult show to compete with. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Sean. I'm behind here on the questions. Thanks, Sean, again, and thanks, What's the Best. Oh my goodness, I'm so behind on the questions. Oh my goodness, I apologize. I'm going back here. Okay. Editing Geek. Oh, is that Sadie Sink as your photo? I like that. Eric says, I'm over this era of movies only having 2 trailers and waiting so late to advertise their films. It's yielding worse and worse results. Yeah, I like a good old-fashioned marketing campaign, like with all the pomp and circumstance, and you give us a teaser, like a true teaser. I don't like the teasers so often these days are full-on trailers. You're like, that was a trailer. And they're like, no, it's a teaser. You're supposed to have a very short, like under a minute teaser, or maybe like a minute and a half teaser. Then you're supposed to have 2 trailers, and they're supposed to have different stuff in them, not like just a rehash of the trailer you already released. Hey, Isaac. What's the best says you keep mentioning getting in trouble. I can't talk to you about how I get in trouble. You want me to get even more into even more trouble? Eric says, anything surprised you the most when watching The Pit? Glad it ended up not being an ER reboot as much as you might have initially been wanting one. I think I'm surprised at how good the characters are. I think the characters are very strong, and I think they have a really great diversity of characters. Sebastian says, saw John Malkovich on Easter Island shooting Wild Horse 9. That's so funny. For Martin McDonough, he didn't want to pick and was grumpy. Oh, that's okay. Sometimes people don't feel they look their best and they don't want their picture splashed all over the internet looking crappy. And I think that's probably what was going on with John Malkovich. Away says, Grace, for your The Last of Us breakdown this week, maybe do mornings starting with episode 3. Well, this was a big episode, and, I worked really hard and stayed up pretty late working on it. This one I'm not getting in advance. I don't know. It's really going to crap up my Easter. But let's see. I don't know. There was such little interest in the first episode of The Last of Us. I was really shocked. But this is, by the way, a very, very big episode. I don't know if The Last of Us factors into your Easter plans, but I would consider making it factor in. Kareem says, Grace, are you a Crash or a Huckleberry? I'm a Mel. I relate very much to Mel. Mel looks very much like I did when I was in high school. I'm like, oh my God, it's me. Okay. Those are characters from The Pit, by the way. Let's see here. Isaac, I am hoping to review Final Destination Bloodlines, especially after it was the most watched horror trailer of all time or something, right? All right, Phil. Hey, Phil. Says, any video games you have a side eye on? Very much looking forward to Kohima's new game with Elle Fanning and George Miller. I'm not a gamer. I think the game that I put in my notes to look and see if I could review the cutscenes was the next Grand Theft Auto. I was like, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should watch the cutscenes for Grand Theft Auto 6 and review that. Let's see. So that's the game that's on my radar as a non-gamer. Tim Zilla says, hey, Grace, do you happen to know anything about Wicked 2 or Jurassic World Rebirth trailers? Maybe anything about Godzilla and Kong 3 from Warner Brothers? I know, again, Wicked 2 is ready. I think you're probably going trailers tend to come out when there's a big movie to pair them with. I think that Wicked, though, is ready to go. Hopefully will be sometime this month. And then you're probably going to have trailers like when Thunderbolts is coming out, there should be a lot of trailers to go with that. It's supposed to be the kickoff of the summer movie season. And so a lot of movies are going to want to help push that to make it a big summer. Warren says, huge fan for 10 years. I really appreciate that. Love your content. If the remaining Avatar films are critically successful, how financially successful do you think they will be? Well, who would have ever guessed Jim Cameron could do it twice? I certainly wouldn't. I think that was amazing. I think the only issue is that it's not going to be as long a break this time. And so the visual effects really better be that much of a difference. And I think the characters, the new Na'vi better look a heck of a lot different. And I'm interested to see the fire effects in 3D. That could be really incredible. So let's see the movie. I hope it does well. I don't think it has a lot of competition in the middle of winter. The holiday season, to be honest with you. So let's see. Never bet against James Cameron, though. He's only really faltered once, and that was when he took back the Terminator franchise and killed John Connor in the first opening scene, which was really stupid. J. Scott Garrity says, holy cow, Grace, Joseph Quinn is in everything and crushing it. Why do you think some actors and actresses just explode? What is different about them? I just think, I think they just get some heat and it's up to them and they agree to be in a lot of things very quickly. I think that, Hollywood is a town of connections, so maybe they socialize a little bit too. Maybe they're very good at making friends. Maybe they have the right agent. You never really can quite tell what it is. And you don't want to get overexposed either. I think it's a delicate balance. Let's see here. Ben 10 says, hi, Grace. When could we get the other Doomsday cast members? Feige said other actors have yet to be revealed. Maybe Comic-Con? Maybe that'll happen. John says, worst ride at Disney World. Ooh, is there a bad ride at Disney World? Let me think about it for a second. What's that thing in Tomorrowland with the little rockets that go around? I guess I'll pick that one. I think I rode it once. I was like, don't care for this. I'm also not a big Space Mountain fan at Disney World. Disneyland Space Mountain is very nice, but Disney World has those crazy bucket seats That's right, Dan Am. Mission Space. That killed some people. So, yeah, it's a pretty bad ride. Oh, I like the Jungle Cruise. Well, Luis, give it another chance. Dancing Dog 60. I'm glad you enjoyed Daredevil. I'm way behind on the comments. Let's see here. Brian says, what comics are you reading right now? Well, last night I read the new Wonder Woman. Tom King started a new story arc, Murder on Olympus, with Batman helping Wonder Woman solve a murder. And Guillaume March is the illustrator, the artist. And, boy, that's a good comic. If you're looking for a comic to read, that was, I think, way better than the first initial arc on the comic. I mean, Tom King's really cooking with gas with this one. This is fantastic. I strongly recommend it. I also really like Absolute Batman. I think that's a great Elseworld story. Let's see here. Steven says, if Wanda doesn't want to come back, we still have Jean. Nah, I'm over Jean too. I've never really been a big Jean fan. Some of you really love Jean. Scoochmeister, that's funny. And I like that you're kind of peeking into your picture there. That's hilarious. Travis Park releases, hey Grace, are you planning to watch The Wedding Banquet? I'm going this weekend doing a triple feature with Warfare and Sinners. Wow, what's the order going to be? That sounds really fun. I don't know if I'd see The Wedding Banquet in theaters, but I hope to check it out at some point. I really like, again, I'm a big Bowen Yang fan. Blick says, do you think Midnighter and Apollo's relationship will be developed in any way on the Authority Gun Project? Let's see if we ever see the Authority Project, because he announced that when he started out, and it's been a minute, and it has not made any progress. Sophia says, talking about projects is free and consuming is not. That's very true, Sophia. That's very true. And Joma says that he's just not interested in superheroes anymore. I do believe superhero fatigue is real. I know a number of casuals who are like, just can't do it anymore. I was like, are you going to see Thunderbolts? And they were like, nope. I think they're out. And I talked a lot of people into seeing Captain America, and they did not enjoy it. They did not enjoy it as much as I did. And I felt really guilty about that. And so I think we're in a different space. Let's see if people go see Sinners. Floppy Disk Channel says, Hacks is good, but why do you think comedians fall out? Joan Rivers, Johnny Carson. I think comedians, comedy is a very competitive business. And I think that's a lot of what it is. I think that, it's just a lot of big egos. And I think, that happens. And I think, usually you're not supposed to know about this stuff. We're living in an age where everybody likes to talk about their drama. They're like, ooh, let me spill my own tea. Never spill your own tea. That's ridiculous. Like there are some things that you're just not supposed to talk about, unless obviously you've been wronged, and then you should go get a lawyer. It's just, I've yet to really see it work out for anybody. Let's see here. Scoochmeister says, do you think the fact that they have the Thunderbolts doing such advanced fan screenings means there's little to spoil? Well, there's a big thing to spoil at the end, but I think maybe they feel like the press are going to spoil it anyway, so they might as well get hopefully good word of mouth. But I feel like as soon as you hear at the end of the movie is you're going to be like, I don't need to see it. So let's see. I told you the other day, I don't like just recreating a panel. It should be the whole story, and I think that would be better. Like you don't need to pay like $30 for a movie just to see like something that you can hear about on. Let's just see what happens. I appreciate that, Steven. I'm glad you guys check out my videos even if you don't plan to watch the movie. I just have fun talking to you about this stuff. And I think it's important to be in the know. So I'm glad that I can fill you in. Elliot, that's right. We don't know how political Fantastic Four is going to be. So let's wait until we actually, I'm looking forward to seeing this new trailer. I think this movie's going to live or die on how Julia Garner looks as Silver Surfer. If everybody's like, that's really freaking cool, the movie will be in good shape. If the toxic crowd just feels like they've been fed, it's going to be a real problem for the film. Roman says, clearly theaters need to do more throwback screenings to get viewers back. Oh, I don't think re-releases are that effective. I think, again, they should maybe lower prices a little bit, or push their loyalty programs more. It is very expensive to go to the movies. And I think people not only feel it's expensive, but I feel they're not getting their money's worth. And that's really a problem. Floppy Disk Channel, I'm glad you liked episode 5 of The Studio. I hated it, but I'm glad you liked it. Apricot Warrior says, Grace, I noticed Peele and Coogler have a way of telling stories and finding talent. Would a collab between the two do numbers with a good story? That's interesting you say that, because Sinners did remind me a lot of a Jordan Peele movie. And I thought it was interesting to see Ryan Coogler kind of like encroach on like what's very much been Peele's territory up until now. That's interesting that you made the same comparison. And they are, in fact, using Jordan Peele's movies as like a guide for how they think the box office might be on Sinners. So let's see. Rodney, I love Manny Jacinto. I agree with you. Adam Sphere says they're going to announce The Acolyte Season 2. Well, that would be interesting since they swore they'd never do it. I think that would be a big mistake. I'd maybe do like the Manny Jacinto show and call it something else with new talent behind the camera. Maybe that I would do. Alexander Padilla says, thoughts on the Katy Perry Gayle King space trip? A waste of money and resources, in my opinion. Oh, I don't want to say anything bad. I thought Gayle King was very funny that she didn't want to do it. I thought Gayle King got a lot out of it. And I have to say, Katy Perry, I don't know, were people hate tweeting about Katy Perry? She sure got a heck of a lot of coverage out of it. I don't know. I would like to, I obviously am excited to see women in exciting spaces where things are happening. But I think when you make it all women, you make it seem like they had to do that to be able to get into the space instead of being able to just get in there on their own. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just a promotional thing. And I wonder if Jeff Bezos feels, he did it, I think, largely for his fiancée. And he wanted her to, have this moment. And so he surrounded her with a lot of other celebrities to make it more legit and to more justify the costs. I don't know if it worked or not, Cinema Hub says, thoughts on one battle after another. Well, it looks pretty funny. I love me some Leonardo DiCaprio. But that I would qualify as yet another film that was made back when everybody thought Kamala Harris was going to win. And now they're like, oh no, now we still have this movie. What are we going to do with it? Quackist says, could Marvel Rivals get people to like Captain Marvel? Yeah, why haven't they tried to get people to like Captain Marvel with that game? Even they don't want to get anywhere near Captain Marvel. Such a shame. I'm so sad what happened to Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. David Kyle says, is Catherine O'Hara in more episodes of The Last of Us? Well, she's certainly probably in the Eugene one. I haven't seen any of the other episodes. They sent a few members of the press, all of them. But for most of us, and even only if I was very lucky to even get one in advance, I think maybe after this Sunday, maybe they might change their mind. Thank you, Blix. But we'll see what they decide to do. But I haven't seen the other episodes. I'm going to be watching them with the rest of you. Let's see here. Tough Luck says, if I may, Grace, I think Thunderbolts early screenings, which I feel Disney should have done like with Shang-Chi and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, signals they believe in it. I think it's not good. I think it comes out, that's 2 weeks early, people will have seen it. I think it makes it feel like old news. I think it's really important for fans to feel that they're in the mix and that they're just as highly regarded as members of the press. So when you have other people get access to things way earlier than the fans, I think it kind of sours them on it, particularly because they have so many other options now. It's easier to wait. They're like, people are already, because I guarantee you, after that fan screening, you will have a detailed description of the movie online. And that's what, you have to be really careful about this stuff. Javier says, just curious, sometimes you get scoops that cannot share to avoid trouble. Why are they useful then? They're not particularly useful because I can't do anything with them. But I'm not going to tell someone not to tell me something. It does keep me in the know personally. I know it, and so I can inform my opinions and sometimes the things that I say and my speculation about things that are coming out. Like I knew Joker 2 was in trouble because, I heard that it was supposed to be really good, but I knew that they'd made weird choices. So, I think it's helpful in that regard. That's an interesting question, Javier. Steven, I saw that you got a hit tweet off the Gal Gadot stuff. Let's see here. Paula Brunel says, why is Last of Us 2 not doing well on social media, but is 13% up from last year's premiere? I'm not sure. I think that it's not up to the degree that it was when it ended. I feel there's been slippage and interest in the show. Let's see if it gets it back. I'm very curious to see what happens after this upcoming episode. I wonder if people will be locked in or if the thing's going to fall like a rock. I mean, I'm just curious to see what happens. I mean, they are going to have extensive flashbacks after that. So let's just see. I think they might have underestimated how much a lot of people hate the second game. I've seen Ben-Hur, Ryan. I think it's a good movie. I liked even the new Ben-Hur. Dancing Dog 60 says, who is the modern day Yul Brynner? I love Yul Brynner as well, although I'm not sure. Yul Brynner, I don't know what his purpose would be. I believe he was Russian, right? I mean, I think it's very interesting to see the evolution of diversity in Hollywood stars. There was Yul Brynner, and then, hold on. Let me just make sure I got this right. I'm blanking on it. I want to get it right. Yeah, so you go from Yul Brynner, then you go to Omar Sharif. And these, I think today some of the roles that these actors played would be frowned upon and would be considered taking someone else's role. But they were groundbreaking at the time. But I'm a big Yul Brynner fan. I think Yul Brynner is really talented. I'm glad you brought him up. I don't think he gets enough credit. Nor does Omar Sharif. Really in some incredible films. Nathan Gonzalez says, hey Grace, I've reached my BTT silver medal. Yay! Is there anything you can do to start a petition to advocate for Daredevil Born Again Season 2 to be a binge? I don't know. Let's see. I think that Disney wants that. They want to combat churn. And, Netflix is okay with it, but I think most services want to keep you locked in for the whole time. I'm so glad I'm seeing your guys' pit comments. I'm glad some of you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm glad I was able to pay it forward, and some of you got me to watch it. Now I'm able to get other people to watch it. Tamed the Three Bears. I'm so glad you enjoyed the live streams. That makes me very happy. Vincent says, when I go to the movies for $5 tickets, do the theaters cover the spare money or do the studios take the loss? I don't know either. I'm very curious. I want to know how AMC A-List makes any money. Is that why maybe some box office openings are lower because so many of us are using AMC A-List? Thank you, Ryan. Right? Timodoc says, Grace, I got to go to Epic Universe last week. It's beautiful and unbelievable and nothing works. Oh, no! Oh, no! I might be going there sometime soon. I'm pretty excited. I hope everything's not broken. That would be really sucky. Kyle says, Grace, I think White Lotus' Sam Nivola would make a great Tommy Speed opposite Joe Locke's Wiccan. I don't know, he looks a little bit like Joe Locke. I don't know about that. I gotta tell you, I'm not a big Sam Nivola fan. I just don't think he has that sparkle. Zetus Lapidus says, can you teach us about the book-to-screen pipeline? As a reader, I'm always shocked HW has monopolized on more book IP, Hollywood, that's already... Okay, I'll tell you a little bit. Thank you, 80s Model. So, and thank you, Zerfin. That's very kind of you to say. So basically what happens is that a lot of times books, the publishers will send out manuscripts before they even publish a book to Hollywood development departments. And that's why sometimes the book deal will be done for the movie before the book even is published. And that helps to promote the book. They go, oh, you better read this book. It's going to be a movie. And then sometimes, Hollywood will look to see popular books that they haven't gotten the rights to. And if they're selling really well, they'll go and get that because Hollywood is very risk averse. And so they only want to adapt things that are already proven somewhere else, be it a video game, a book, a comic book. They want to be able to point to a success factor, and they want to have a fan base that's already set. Now, lately that's really bit them in the butt, but that's kind of the way, that's like a crash course in how it works. Blix! Oh, I thought you, thank you for that, but thank you. Oh my goodness. Let me get through on these questions. We're almost done for the time. I apologize that I can't get to everything. I feel bad. Okay. Oh, I already answered the Katy Perry space thing. Okay. Kyle says, I'm so sorry for asking that question about Stranger Things that would have gotten you in trouble. Oh, don't worry about it, but just don't be upset with me if I have to be like really careful. Mexican Nacho says, oh, thank you again, Blix. Wow. Mexican Nacho says, hey, Grace, do you feel Thunderbolts will be a must-watch? I'll be traveling during release week, but I'm going to the movies in other... I love going to movies in other countries. You should definitely go see anything, you know, even if it's not Thunderbolts. I highly recommend going to the movies in other countries. When I was in London, I went to see Paddington Bear. I went to see Elf in this beautiful old school movie theater. That was such a cool thing. I mean, that was a re-release that got me in the theater. And I think I even maybe saw something else too. I forget off the top of my head. I love going to the movies in other countries. I like to go to movies and I like to go to supermarkets. I think that's really fun to do. Hey, John. Future movie actress says, how impactful do you think certain countries banning certain movies will be? You know, I think China will have a big impact to a degree, but I don't think right now it's too, I mean, Snow White's already dead in the water. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do to it. It's like, it's already dead, leave it alone, you know? Rodney says, Grace doesn't love trouble, she loves chaos. That's a funny way to put it. That's funny. Elliot says, I finally signed up for AMC A-List. I have Cinemark Movie Club, but I'm doing AMC, so I watch movies in IMAX and Dolby. Yeah, AMC A-List is a great program. I love it. Mary says, I hope someday you watch The Newsreader with Sam Reed. I would love to watch that, but, you know, I have so much to watch. It's hard. It's very hard. Did Michael just gift more memberships? Wow. Thank you, Michael. Happy birthday to your mom. Ross says, why hasn't James gotten greenlight or even begun development on a Wonder Woman animated series? It would do so much to appease a large part of the fandom. Well, what's he going to do with the Gal Gadot situation? I think it's really hard. I think that's largely why he's staying away from it. Future movie actor says, with Sonic 3's physical media release this week, you think not going darker and more adult with its material helped it to be successful? I don't know. I think the last one actually was not as successful as the second. I think that, you know, Sonic is a very solid franchise. I'm sure Paramount's very happy with the way it's performing for them. Isaac, I'm not reading Sunrise on the Reaping, but I'm certainly keeping an eye on it. I'm very impressed that it's doing so, that, you know, it's done so well as a book. Guy Tyson saw Cap 4 again for the third time a couple of days ago. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think it's a middle of the stack comic book. I enjoyed it too, but I think that if you're not into superhero stories, it just seems to apparently be inaccessible. And so many people didn't remember Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I thought was weird. I'm like, how do you guys not remember Falcon and Winter Soldier? Diana says, Grace, can you tell us anything about Stranger Things? Even anything on First Shadow? You know, Netflix would just absolutely kill me. No, I'm sorry, I cannot. They would kill me. Okay. BR117 says, hey, Grace, have you watched The Wheel of Time? I have not watched Wheel of Time, but I'm glad so many of you love it so much. Jen says, Grace, Marvel releasing the Doomsday chair teaser before Thunderbolts and even Fantastic Four really hurt those movies. Teaser, yeah, I agree. I think they did it in an attempt to help those movies, to be like, you better watch these characters. They're going to be in Doomsday. But I think it just made them seem all the more irrelevant in their films. You know, I think that I would not have done that. I mean, I think they're making it so much about Doomsday and Secret Wars. Everybody's like, okay, we'll wait for that. A cases are gun fans similar to DCU fans and they hype a movie up. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if they will. I think that I gotta tell you, I think Supergirl's costume looks amazing from what we're seeing. I mean, that's what I would love to see more of from DC. You know, and maybe Lanterns will be really good. You know, I think it's too early to judge James Gunn as in any way. You know, I think that the ad campaign for Superman has not been great, but doesn't totally rest on him. I haven't heard anything about the Buffy reboot. Christian, there's so many rumors about who's going to be in the new Hunger Games. I mean, I would be surprised if Ralph Fiennes, they must be paying him a lot if he does something again after Voldemort. Sophia says Mikey Madison passed on Star Wars, the Sean Levy movie. That's fascinating. I'm surprised she would do that. That's a really bad sign for the brand. Steven says, I wonder if theaters offered some family plan for stuff like AMC A-List. Well, they are going to be doing, now you can be 13 and join AMC A-List, and I think that'll help a lot. Itchley B. Brought, I agree. It's ridiculous that Spider-Man hasn't shown up. I mean, like, Kingpin basically made himself the king of New York City, and Spider-Man just didn't show up. It's bizarre. Tanya, Rick Dalton is your favorite Leo performance. Yeah, he's great. I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. He was so funny also on Wolf of Wall Street. He's a really great actor. Hey, David Reese. Gabe says, hey, Grace, who is your favorite horror movie villain? Yours is Michael Myers. 1978's Halloween is what got me into horror and movies in general. I do like Pennywise, both versions. Scream is pretty great, although they sure have done a lot of Screams at this point. Let's see. I really like The Shining. That's still my favorite film of that kind. Kyle says, hi, Grace. Is Kingpin's curfew martial law going to play into Thunderbolts? Probably not. That's so stupid. Oh, I didn't even think of that. And then, let's see here. Keep an eye out for Amazon's upcoming Fourth Wing adaptation. I think it'll be a hit. Oh, I've never even heard of Fourth Wing, but I will keep an eye out for it. Thank you very much. Platinum Diva, we have missed you as well. Oh, it's so nice that you stopped by to say hello. And Maria, thank you for your generosity. That's very kind of you. Cal N says, one bit of advice to a guy who hates his 9 to 5. I hear ya. I feel ya. Well, I think it's always important in life to be really, really positive. I think, you just can't let yourself get into a funk or else you'll never get out of the funk. So I think you got to be positive. I think you got to think about what you might like about your 9 to 5. And if your job truly is a 9 to 5, I think you should focus on the fact that you get out at 5. That's pretty nice. I mean, a lot of jobs these days, you would not be able to have that, get out that early. So you can use that time to improve your personal life, to try and find a way out of your 9 to 5. But, I would never jump out of a stable situation unless you were jumping into another at least semi-stable situation. But yeah, and other things I would say to you is make sure you find the way to find the joy. And I would give this advice to anybody, even, no matter what's going on in your life. Make sure that you have things that you can touch. And I'm very honored that some of you think that this channel is that for you. But things that that you can just cheer you up, like your shows, something you might enjoy reading, a place you like to go, working out could be that for you, just something that, make sure you take care of your mental health. Just something just have that thing that cheers you up. Leek says, what are the top changes you would make to season 2 of Daredevil now that you've seen all the Born Again episodes? I agree that he needs to face a different villain. Kingpin, they've done this dance for 4 seasons already. I think we need a little bit of a break. Maria says, are some country cities easier locations to film? How does that work? I went to Egypt and I don't know why it isn't getting used more. Well, it's very competitive. And the question is, do they offer incentives in terms of tax breaks? Which will save them production money. What are the resources like? Not only in terms of locations, but hotels and stuff like that. But what is the crew situation like? Because whenever somebody shoots locally, for the most part, outside of the cinematographer maybe and things like that, and the director, a lot of the other talent behind the camera is going to be local. So you really want to make sure there's a deep bench of talent for you to hire, because who's going to be on your set? So that's also, I think, a big part of it as well. Jen knows the old Brenner from The King and I. That's right. Celestine, I haven't seen Blazing Saddles in a very long time, but I did recently rewatch Young Frankenstein, and I had a great time with that. All right, it's been an hour. Dancing Dog 60 says, my dad used to say, don't work, just make money. That's a good way to look at it. Brock, I think I got to your question, didn't I? Let me go back. Oh, when do you think the Wicked trailer will drop? I think this movie will outdo all summer movies this year. I'm really curious because it's a much darker entry. So I hope that it does well. I hope that it does well. I have to see it. Oh, Eliza, that's very nice of you to say. And that's right, Michael Macenas. Happiness is very important. Thank you, Zeke. Hey, Moonbee. All right, well, I got to get going. We had a lovely Q&A live stream. Hopefully there'll be some news tomorrow so we can have a regular live stream. And I think I'm expecting, I'll see if I hear anything, but I'm expecting the Mando trailer pretty late in the day. So let me just do some quick shout outs. Later, Rodney. Oh, my pleasure, Art Lover. What a nice thing to say. Oh, Maria, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed the live stream, even though it was a Q&A instead of stories. Hey, Zeke in New York. Hey, Jane. Hey, Psych Girl 17. Elliot's just home from university. My blue Prada. I like the blue hearts. Oh, John's playing Marvel Rivals right now. Zunning Tater says, what's for dinner? I'm having a salad too, Zunning Tater. But I'm going to make some a burger with it. So that's going to make it a little more fun. But you got to get your greens in. It's very important. Hey, Jose in Los Angeles and Diego in Mexico. Ben 10, bonjour in France as usual. Bye, Rajiv. Jareem is in Cleveland. Platinum Diva's in Vegas, about to go to sleep. That's right, because you're working the graveyard shift. I'm glad you got to say hi. Chugging Pizza in London. I've never heard of anyone chugging pizza ate at Buffalo. Bye, Wanda's attorney. Hey, Sebastian in Chile. Bobby is cooking pasta over a campfire in Maine. Oh, you're outside. I love it. Marduk is binging True Blood in France. That's a great show. Hey, Amir in Dubai. Leek in Alaska. Oh, don't be sad, Danny. I got to see you. Art Lover is avoiding dessert in Pleasanton, California. You can do it. Stay strong. And then Adam Sphere is washing the never-ending amount of dishes. Yeah, you're hardcore for hand washing. I'm like, if I can see a dish that's hand washed, I'm like, I don't need this. Dan is in Epcot, heading to Epcot for dinner and rides. You're gonna have a wonderful evening. I love Epcot. Michael's gonna walk the dog in Chicago. You have beautiful dogs, Michael. Well, tell her thank you for being so patient. Oh, Ben's sleep tight and hungry. And Ricardo's is about to go to bed and watch the studio's latest episode. Love from Brian and Ricardo in Edinburgh. It's always so nice to see you guys. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Mr. Magic. That's very sweet of you, Mr. Magic. And let's see here. Nathan Gonzalez is playing Fortnite in Houston, Texas. And Linda is trying not to nap in Charleston, South Carolina. Get up! I hope I can help you a little bit there. Don't lie down, Linda. Stay strong. Go watch The Pit. That'll keep you up. Let's see here. Oh, Fritz is going to bed drunk. You've got to go to sleep, Fritz. You're not going to be able to stay up. Riley says, hi, Grace. I've worked in media for years, but I'm starting my own dream job as a sound engineer at Warner Brothers soon. Oh, are you going to be on the lot? Wanted to share and remind you what an inspiration you are. Oh, that's so sweet. You know, I get some messages like that here and on social media, and that just makes me feel so nice that I can help some of you find your path. And that's going to be wonderful to be on the studio. Warner Brothers has a fabulous commissary. You're going to have such a nice time. Oh, look, you got some advice there, Linda, from Isaac. Walk around and wash your face with cold water. That's a good one. That's a good one. That'll wake you up. Oh, yeah. Ray Zeg says the Variety said Mikey Madison passed on Star Wars. That's so bad. That's so embarrassing. It's like what happened to Fantastic Four. I think Disney doesn't want to pay people. Let's see. Riley's moving to LA. That's exciting. LA has a lot of fun stuff there. It's a cool town. Denzel. Nice to see you. I'm glad I got to say hi. And Platinum Diva, you might move to Macau, China. Oh, Platinum Diva, you got to keep us updated on that development. That's exciting. Oh, and Linda said thank you for the tips on staying awake. That's great, Linda. And I'm glad you haven't fallen asleep. Thank you for sharing your plight with us so we could help you. Marduk says singing is also helpful. You sing yourself. That's great. Oh, Riley says you're moving for the Warner Brothers job. Well, a lot of people move to LA without having a job in place, so you're a step ahead. Elliot, I don't blame Mikey Madison either, but let's not talk about it too much because it might end up being a story tomorrow. Let's see if there are any news tomorrow. All right, I better get going. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I had a lovely time with you as always, and I'm shooting for 3 streams this week, and so they would be obviously tomorrow and Friday. All right, everybody, bye-bye. See you soon. Bye-bye.